He thought locking me in a car for 2 hours would keep me silent forever. He was wrong. Sometimes the quietest person in the room is the most dangerous one. If you've ever been treated like a decoration instead of a person, drop a comment below. And if you want to see justice served, subscribe to this channel. I promise this story will satisfy you until the very last minute. My name is Mia Chen. I'm 28 years old and I'm a freelance graphic designer. For 2 years, I dated Ryan Thompson. 2 years of rearranging my schedule around his family's needs. 2 years of making myself smaller so I wouldn't embarrass him. 2 years of believing that love just needed time for his family to accept me. My parents immigrated from Taiwan when I was 5. They worked in a restaurant, saved every penny, put me through state college. I learned early that you don't make waves, you don't demand attention, you earn respect through quiet dedication. Ryan's family was different. Old money. Connecticut roots going back generations. The kind of people who summered in the Hamptons and had a winter house in Aspen. When Ryan first introduced me to his parents, his mother looked at me the way you'd look at a stain on expensive upholstery. Polite smile, cold eyes. His father barely acknowledged my presence beyond a handshake that lasted exactly 2 seconds. I told myself it was just first impressions. They'd warm up eventually. They never did. Ryan's little sister Jessica was getting married. The family had been planning it for 18 months. Engagement party at the country club, bridal shower at a boutique hotel, bachelorette weekend in Miami. I wasn't invited to any of it. When I asked Ryan why, he said, "They're keeping it intimate, babe. You understand." I did understand. I understood perfectly. I just didn't want to admit what it meant. But the wedding itself, surely I'd be invited to the actual wedding. We'd been together for 2 years. Ryan and I talked about moving in together. He kept a drawer at my apartment. I had a toothbrush at his place. That meant something, didn't it? The invitation arrived addressed only to Ryan. No and guest. No mention of me at all. When I pointed it out, Ryan shrugged. "It's just how they do formal invitations. Of course you're coming." His voice had that edge it got when I asked too many questions. So I stopped asking. I started saving for their wedding gift in March. 2 months of setting aside money from every freelance project. I skipped my usual coffee shop runs, packed lunches instead of ordering takeout, said no to drinks with friends. By May, I had $800. I bought them a luxury dinnerware set from their registry. Wedgwood, place settings for 12, the pattern Jessica had marked as most wanted. When the sales associate wrapped it, she said, "Someone's going to love you for this." I remember thinking, I hope so. I bought my dress at Nordstrom Rack. A simple, nude-colored sheath dress, knee-length, modest neckline, cap sleeves. Nothing flashy, nothing that would draw attention. $150 that hurt my budget, but I wanted to look nice. I wanted Ryan's family to see that I could fit in, that I belonged. I sent Ryan a photo asking if it was appropriate. He texted back, "Yeah, whatever looks fine." The day before the wedding, Ryan called me. "Hey, so tomorrow, just keep a low profile, okay? My mom's stressed about everything being perfect. Don't try to talk to everyone or anything. Just be chill." I felt something twist in my stomach, but I pushed it down. "Of course," I said. "I just want Jessica to have a beautiful day." That night, Jessica called Ryan while he was at my apartment. I could hear her voice through the phone, sharp and insistent. "You're not seriously bringing her, are you? Can you just tell her there's not enough space?" Ryan stepped into the hallway, but I heard him anyway. "Jess, I can't just uninvite my girlfriend. What am I supposed to say?" Her response was loud enough for me to catch the words "embarrassing" and "doesn't fit in." When Ryan came back, he acted like nothing happened. Wedding morning. Ryan picked me up at 9. The ceremony started at 2, but the venue was 90 minutes away and he wanted to get there early to help with setup. I wore the nude dress, pearl earrings my grandmother gave me, minimal makeup, hair in a simple low bun. I looked in the mirror before leaving and saw someone trying very hard to be invisible. Ryan barely spoke during the drive. He had the radio on some classic rock station, drumming his fingers on the steering wheel. I held the wedding gift on my lap, beautifully wrapped in ivory paper with a silk ribbon. Every few minutes, I'd adjust the bow, making sure it looked perfect, making sure it looked expensive enough. making sure it looked like I cared. We pulled into the country club parking lot at 10:30. The venue was gorgeous. White columns, manicured gardens, a fountain with actual swans. Guests were starting to arrive, elegant couples in designer clothes stepping out of luxury cars. I saw Ryan's mother near the entrance, directing staff members, a clipboard in her hand. She looked like she'd stepped out of a town and country magazine. Ryan pulled into a spot far from the entrance, even though there were closer spaces available. He put the car in park but didn't turn off the engine. For a long moment, he just sat there, staring straight ahead. Then he turned to look at me, the expression on his face. I'd never seen him look at anyone like that, like I was something disgusting he'd found on the bottom of his shoe. "What were you thinking with that dress?" His voice was quiet, which somehow made it worse than if he'd yelled. I looked down at myself, confused. "You said it looked fine. I sent you a picture." "It looks cheap, Mia. You look cheap." He said my name like it tasted bad in his mouth. "My family doesn't need to see your pathetic face and disgusting dress at my sister's wedding." The words hit me like a physical blow. I couldn't breathe. "Ryan, I don't understand. I can change. I brought a cardigan." "A cardigan?" He laughed, but there was no humor in it. "That's your solution?" "No, you're not coming in." "But I saved for 2 months for their gift. I just want to give it to them. I don't have to stay." He held out his hand. "Give me your phone." "What? Why?" "Give me your phone, Mia." His voice had gone cold, flat, the voice he used with telemarketers. My hands were shaking as I pulled my phone from my purse. He snatched it from me, then reached across and opened the glove compartment, tossing it inside and slamming it shut. "You're not ruining my sister's day. You'll wait here. I'll come get you when it's over." "Ryan, please." He got out of the car. I heard the locks click, central locking, controlled by his key fob. He leaned down to look at me through the window. "Stay here. Don't make a scene. I'll be back." Then he walked away, toward the country club entrance, straightening his tie. I sat there, frozen. I tried the door handle. Locked. All 4 doors, locked. The windows were up. It was May in Connecticut, 85 degrees outside, the sun beating down on the black sedan. I could feel the car already getting warmer. For the first 30 minutes, I cried. Quiet, careful tears that I wiped away with my fingers because I didn't want to ruin my makeup. Because some part of me still thought this was temporary, that Ryan would come back and apologize, that this was some kind of stress-induced mistake. People walked past the car, couples holding hands, families with children in tiny tuxedos and flower girl dresses. An older man glanced in my direction, but I looked down, embarrassed. What would I even say? My boyfriend locked me in here? It sounded insane. They'd think I was crazy. After an hour, I stopped crying. The tears dried up. The car was stifling now. I'd rolled down the window a crack before Ryan locked me in, but it wasn't enough. Sweat was beading on my forehead, on my upper lip. My carefully styled hair was starting to frizz. The nude dress was sticking to my back. I stared at the wedding gift on the seat beside me. $800. 2 months of sacrifice. For people who didn't want me there. For a man who looked at me with disgust. Something broke inside me during that second hour. Not loudly, not dramatically. Just a quiet snap, like a thread pulled too tight. I stopped thinking about what I did wrong. I stopped wondering how to fix this. I started thinking about something else entirely. By the time Ryan came back, I wasn't the same person he'd locked in that car. He opened the door at 12:30, casual as anything. "Okay, ceremony's done. You can come to the reception now, but fix your face, you look like hell." He said it with a slight smile, like he was doing me a favor. I didn't speak. I took the wedding gift, got out of the car on shaking legs. My dress was wrinkled, my makeup was smudged. I could feel my hair falling out of its bun. Ryan looked at me and sighed. "There's a bathroom near the entrance. Go clean yourself up. And Mia, don't embarrass me." The country club was even more beautiful inside. Crystal chandeliers, marble floors, flower arrangements that probably cost more than my monthly rent. I found the bathroom, thankfully empty, and stared at myself in the mirror. I looked exactly how I felt, wrecked. I washed my face. reapplied my makeup with the small emergency kit I kept in my purse, fixed my hair as best I could. When I came out, Ryan was waiting in the hallway, scrolling through his phone. He didn't look up. "Reception's through there. Try to smile." The reception hall was stunning. Round tables with ivory linens, centerpieces of white roses and peonies, string lights creating a warm glow, at least 200 guests. I recognized some faces from the photos Ryan had shown me over the years, his college friends, family members, Jessica's sorority sisters. Ryan walked ahead of me. When we reached a group of his friends near the bar, he didn't wait for me to catch up. He just started talking, laughing at something someone said. One of his buddies noticed me and said, "Hey Ryan, who's this?" Ryan glanced back like he'd forgotten I existed. "Oh, this is Mia." He paused, and I felt that pause in my bones. "Just a friend from work." As he said it, he winked at one of the bridesmaids, a blonde in a pale pink dress who giggled. "Just a friend. 2 years, and I was just a friend from work." I smiled politely. That's what I'd learned to do. Smile politely when things hurt. "Oh, that's nice," the bridesmaid said, her voice sweet in that way that meant she wasn't really paying attention to me at all. She touched Ryan's arm. "You did such a good job on your speech. I almost cried." Ryan smiled at her, that charming smile he used to give me. "You're too kind, Sarah." I stood there for another minute, invisible. Then I walked away. No one noticed. I found the gifts table near the entrance to the reception hall. Mountains of beautifully wrapped boxes and envelopes stuffed with what were probably generous checks. I placed my gift among them. It looked nice. Expensive. No one would know that it represented 2 months of choosing between lunch and saving money. No one would know that the person who bought it had just been locked in a car for 2 hours. A woman in her 60s approached the table, examining the gifts with interest. She picked up the card from my box, reading it. "Oh, how lovely. Wedgwood." She looked at me. "Are you family?" I shook my head. "Friend of Jessica's?" I shook my head again. I hesitated. What was I? "I'm with Ryan, her brother." The woman's face brightened. "Oh, Ryan, such a handsome young man, and you're his—" "Friend," I said, because that's what he'd called me. "Just a friend." The woman looked confused for a moment, then smiled politely and moved away. I stood there alone, watching her go. They'd assigned me to table 19. I found it in the back corner of the reception hall, near the doors to the kitchen, where staff kept pushing through with trays of food. The table was half full. 3 elderly aunts who barely spoke English, a family friend's teenage son glued to his phone, and a couple who looked to be in their early 70s. The name cards said Mia Chen in the same elegant calligraphy as everyone else's, but the placement said everything. I sat down. One of the aunts smiled at me and said something in Italian. I smiled back. The teenage boy didn't look up from his phone. The elderly couple asked if I was with the bride or groom's family. "Groom's brother," I said. They nodded politely and went back to their conversation about their granddaughter's college applications. From where I sat, I could see Ryan. He was at table 3, right next to the head table where Jessica and her new husband sat. He was laughing, champagne glass in hand, leaning close to that bridesmaid, Sarah, showing her something on his phone. She threw her head back laughing. He touched her shoulder. Jessica stood up to make her way around the room, greeting guests. When she reached my table, she hugged the elderly aunts, kissed them on both cheeks, said something warm in Italian that made them tear up. Then her eyes landed on me. For a second, just a second, I thought she might acknowledge me. Say hello. Thank me for the gift. Instead, she looked right through me like I was made of glass. She turned to the elderly couple, asking about their flight from Arizona, and moved on without a word in my direction. But I heard what she said to her maid of honor as they walked away. I heard it clearly because they passed right behind my chair. "Did you see that gift from Ryan's friend? Wedgwood, cheap taste. I bet she got it at TJ Maxx." The maid of honor laughed. "Oh my God, I know. I saw the box." So awkward. They walked away, their laughter fading into the general noise of the reception. The Wedgwood had come from the official registry. $800. The most expensive gift I'd ever bought anyone. Cheap taste. I sat at that table for 3 hours. I ate the salmon that was served, though I don't remember tasting it. I drank water because the teenage boy had claimed all the wine bottles for himself. I watched Ryan charm everyone around him. I watched Jessica and her husband have their first dance. I watched the mother-son dance where Ryan's mom cried prettily into a monogrammed handkerchief. No one asked me to dance. No one asked me my name. No one asked me anything at all. At 8 o'clock, I went to the bathroom. The same beautiful bathroom where I'd fixed my makeup hours ago. This time, I looked different in the mirror. My face was blank, empty. I didn't look sad anymore. I looked like someone who'd just woken up from a very long sleep. I pulled out my phone. Ryan had given it back to me before we entered the reception, tossing it to me like an afterthought. I opened my notes app and I started writing. Names, dates, details. Every time Ryan had made me feel small, every dismissive comment, every time his family had treated me like I didn't exist, the time his mother forgot to save me a seat at Ryan's birthday dinner, the time his father asked what I did for a living and then interrupted my answer to take a phone call, the time Jessica accidentally sent the bridal shower invitation to the wrong email address. I wrote it all down, and then I started researching Ryan's family business, Thompson & Associates, boutique investment firm. I knew they had major clients, investors who kept the company afloat. Ryan had mentioned them before, usually to brag. I pulled up LinkedIn on my phone. And there it was, Marcus Reeves, managing partner at Reeves Capital Group, one of Thompson & Associates' largest investors. I'd done design work for one of his subsidiary companies 2 years ago. He'd been impressed. He'd asked me to stay in touch. I never followed up because Ryan had said it looked desperate to network that aggressively. I stared at Marcus Reeves's profile picture. Then I looked at myself in the mirror. Then I made a decision. I walked back out to the reception with my shoulders straight. I found Ryan near the bar, still talking to Sarah, the bridesmaid. He saw me approaching and his expression flickered with annoyance. "Ready to go?" he asked, like I'd been the one keeping him waiting. "Whenever you are," I said. My voice was calm, steady. On the drive home, Ryan was in high spirits. "Man, that was a great party. Jess looked beautiful, right? And that food, did you try the filet? Incredible." He glanced at me. "You okay? You're quiet." "I'm tired," I said. It wasn't a lie. "Yeah, weddings are exhausting." He reached over and patted my knee, a careless gesture. "Thanks for being cool about everything today. I know my family can be a lot." I looked out the window at the Connecticut landscape rushing past. "Yeah," I said. "They can be." He dropped me off at my apartment at 10 p.m. "I'll call you tomorrow," he said. I'm beat. He didn't kiss me goodbye. He rarely did anymore, I realized. Just a wave, and he was gone. I walked into my apartment, dropped my purse on the couch, and sat down in the dark for a long time. Then I opened my laptop. First, I updated my LinkedIn profile. Fresh portfolio pieces, refined bio, professional headshot. Then I sent a message to Marcus Reeves. Subject line, following up from 2023 collaboration. Body, professional, warm, asking about potential new opportunities. I mentioned I'd recently freed up time in my schedule and was looking to take on more substantial projects. I hit send at 11:43 p.m. Marcus responded at 7:30 the next morning. "Mia, great to hear from you. Let's set up a call. I've got a project I think you'd be perfect for." Ryan texted me at noon. "Hey babe, what you doing today?" I didn't respond immediately. I was on a video call with Marcus discussing a complete rebrand for one of his portfolio companies. $15,000, 6 weeks of work. He was animated, excited about my ideas. "You know, I've always wondered why you didn't stay in touch after that project," he said. "You're incredibly talented." "I was in a relationship where I was told networking aggressively looked desperate," I said. It just came out. I hadn't planned to say it. Marcus was quiet for a moment. "That's unfortunate advice. For what it's worth, advocating for yourself is never desperate. It's smart business." He paused. "Wait. Ryan Thompson, that's your boyfriend, isn't it? He mentioned you once." "He did?" I was genuinely surprised. "Yeah, a few months ago at a meeting. He said something about dating a graphic designer. Small world. Another pause. How's that going? I chose my words carefully. It's running its course, I think. Marcus didn't push, but I could hear something shift in his tone. Well, I'm glad you reached out. Let's make this project happen. We finalized the contract details. I hung up and stared at my computer screen. $15,000. The most I'd ever made on a single project. I felt something that I hadn't felt in 2 years. Powerful. Ryan texted again. Hello? You there? I typed back. Sorry, was on a work call. What's up? He responded. Just wanted to see you. Come over? I looked at his message for a long time. Then I wrote back, busy with a new client. Rain check? There was a long pause before his response. New client? Who? I could feel the anxiety in those 2 words. Just someone I worked with before. You don't know him. Another pause. Him? I smiled at my phone. Marcus Reeves. Why, you know him? The phone rang immediately. I declined the call. He texted, call me now. I didn't. He showed up at my apartment an hour later. I heard him knocking, then pounding. Mia, open up. We need to talk. I looked through the peephole. He looked stressed, his hair messy like he'd been running his hands through it. I opened the door. Why are you working with Marcus Reeves? No, hello. No, how are you? Just accusation. Because he offered me a great project. Why? I leaned against the doorframe, not inviting him in. You can't work with him. Why not? Because. He stopped, clearly trying to find a reason that didn't sound ridiculous. Because he's one of my family's investors. It's weird. How is it weird? I'm a graphic designer. He needs design work. It's business. Don't act stupid, Mia. You know exactly what you're doing. What am I doing, Ryan? I kept my voice level, curious even. You're trying to sabotage my family. By doing my job? By taking a client who offered me work? I tilted my head. You said I was just a friend, right? Friends help friends succeed in business. Isn't that how it works? His face went red. That's not... You know what I meant. Do I? Because at your sister's wedding, you introduced me as just a friend from work, and then spent the evening flirting with bridesmaids while I sat at table 19 next to the kitchen doors. Oh my God, are you still on that? I told you, my family... Locked me in a car for 2 hours. I said it quietly, calmly, but the words hung in the air between us like smoke. You locked me in a car, Ryan, in 85-degree heat, for 2 hours, because you thought my face was pathetic and my dress was disgusting. He opened his mouth, closed it. I was stressed. The wedding. I spent 2 months saving for their gift, $800. Your sister called it cheap taste. She didn't. I heard her. She said it to her maid of honor. She thought I bought it at TJ Maxx. I felt nothing saying these words. No anger, no hurt, just facts. I bought it from their registry, Ryan, the pattern she marked most wanted. He ran his hand through his hair again, frustrated. Look, I'm sorry, okay? Is that what you want to hear? I'm sorry. My family can be difficult, I know that. But you're making this worse by working with Marcus. He's going to think badly of us. Why would he think badly of you? Because you'll talk. You'll tell him things. What things would I tell him, Ryan? That you introduced me as a friend after 2 years of dating? That you locked me in a car? That your family treats me like I'm invisible? I paused. Why would I share any of that? You said I was just a friend. Friends don't share personal relationship details with business contacts. They keep things professional. He stared at me like he was seeing me for the first time. You're different. Am I? This isn't like you. You're not. You don't do things like this. Like what? Like have a career? Like take opportunities? Like respect myself? I stepped back from the doorway. I need to get back to work, Ryan. I have a deadline. Mia, you should go. We need to talk about this. I think we've talked enough. I started to close the door. He put his hand out, stopping it. If you sabotage my family's business, we're done. You understand that? I looked at his hand on my door, then at his face. Then I said the words that had been building in my chest for 2 hours in a hot car, for 3 hours at table 19, for 2 years of making myself small. We're already done, Ryan. You just don't know it yet. I closed the door. He stood there for a moment. I could see his shadow through the peephole. Then he left. I threw myself into the Marcus Reeves project like my life depended on it. Maybe because in some ways it did. For 6 weeks, I worked 12-hour days refining every detail of the rebrand. Logo concepts, color palettes, website mock-ups, social media templates. Marcus checked in twice a week, and every time he was more impressed than the last. "This is exceptional work, Mia," he said during our 4th video call. "I'm serious. I've worked with agencies that charge 3 times what you're charging and don't deliver half this quality." "I appreciate that," I said, and I meant it. After 2 years of Ryan making me feel like my work was just a little hobby, hearing genuine praise felt like oxygen. "I'm curious," Marcus said, leaning back in his chair. "What made you reach out when you did? Timing-wise, I mean." I could have lied. Could have said something generic about career goals. Instead, I said, "I went to a wedding where I realized I'd been making myself smaller for someone who would never make space for me. It seemed like a good time to reclaim my own space." Marcus nodded slowly. "Ryan Thompson's sister's wedding." I didn't confirm or deny it. I didn't need to. "For what it's worth," he said, "I've known the Thompson family for about 8 years. They're good at business, less good at valuing people." He paused. "I'm glad you're valuing yourself now." 3 weeks after Jessica's wedding, Marcus completed the project review. He wired the full $15,000 and added a $5,000 bonus. "For exceeding expectations," the note said. "Let's discuss ongoing work." $20,000. I stared at my bank account balance and felt something shift in my chest. Freedom. That's what money meant in this moment. Not luxury, not status. Freedom. Ryan had been calling and texting sporadically. I responded occasionally, brief and polite. "Busy with work." "Can't talk right now?" "Maybe next week." I watched him grow more anxious with each delayed response. Then Marcus did something I hadn't expected. He invited me to a dinner meeting with several other investors and portfolio company executives. "Networking opportunity," he said. "I think you'd benefit from meeting some people who could use your skills." The dinner was at a steakhouse in Greenwich. Old money establishment, the kind with leather booths and waiters who'd worked there for 30 years. I wore a black silk blouse and tailored pants. Professional, confident, expensive. I'd bought them with my project money and felt zero guilt about it. Marcus introduced me to everyone at the table. "This is Mia Chen, one of the most talented designers I've worked with. She just completed a rebrand for Riverside Tech that's going to set a new standard." People listened, asked questions, wanted my card, talked about their own projects. Halfway through dinner, Marcus's phone buzzed. He glanced at it and his expression shifted slightly. "Excuse me for one moment," he said, stepping away from the table. When he came back, he sat down next to me and spoke quietly. "That was Richard Thompson, Ryan's father. He's requesting a meeting about reassessing our partnership parameters. That's code for, 'My son told me you're working with the woman he's dating and I'm not happy about it.'" "I'm sorry," I said. "I didn't mean to create problems for you." "You didn't create anything, Mia. You took a job. You did excellent work. If the Thompsons have a problem with that, it's their problem, not yours." He paused. "But I want you to know, I'm going to reduce my investment in their firm over the next quarter. Not because of you, because I've been considering it for a while and this conversation reminded me why." "Why's that?" "Because they're the kind of people who think they can control everyone in their orbit. I don't like being in anyone's orbit but my own." He smiled. "I suspect you feel the same way." I did. God, I did. That night, Ryan called me 17 times. I let every call go to voicemail. Around midnight, I finally listened to one of the messages. "Mia, what the hell did you say to Marcus?" "My dad just got off the phone with him and he's livid. Marcus is pulling his investment. Do you understand what that means? That's millions of dollars. My family's business could tank because of this, because of you. Call me back. We need to fix this, now. I deleted the message. Then I blocked his number. The next morning, I got a text from an unknown number. This is Jessica Thompson. You need to stop whatever you're doing with our family's investor. This is beyond petty. People's livelihoods are at stake. Have some decency. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I typed back. I completed a design project for a client. That's all. If your family's business is struggling, that has nothing to do with me. I hope you're enjoying your Wedgwood dinnerware. It wasn't cheap. I blocked that number too. Over the next week, I got messages from Ryan's mother through Facebook, from his college roommate through Instagram, from a cousin I'd met once through LinkedIn. All of them saying variations of the same thing. You're hurting people. You need to stop. This isn't who you are. But that was the thing. They were right. This wasn't who I was. The old Mia would have apologized, would have called Marcus and begged him not to pull his investment, would have set herself on fire to keep other people warm. The new Mia? She opened a bottle of wine, ordered Thai food, and started working on her next client pitch. I started therapy in June. My therapist's name was Dr. Patricia Huang. She was in her 50s, spoke with a slight Boston accent, and had a way of asking questions that made you confront things you'd been avoiding. Tell me about your family's immigration story, she said during our second session. I told her about my parents working 16-hour days at the restaurant, about learning to be quiet, grateful, undemanding, about the unspoken rule that you didn't make waves, didn't ask for too much, didn't take up space. And how did that shape your relationship with Ryan? I thought if I just tried hard enough, if I was good enough, quiet enough, undemanding enough, he'd eventually see my value. His family would accept me. But they never did. No. Why do you think that is? I sat with that question. Because it was never about me. It was about control. About keeping me in a place where I'd always be grateful for scraps. Dr. Huang nodded. And when you stopped accepting scraps, they panicked. They did. Because people who benefit from your silence will do anything to maintain it. That session unlocked something in me. I started posting on social media again. Not about Ryan, not about the wedding, just about my work, my life. Photos of my apartment that I'd redecorated with my project money. Images of my design work, quotes about self-worth and boundaries. My follower count grew. Other designers started reaching out. I got featured in a local business magazine about up-and-coming freelancers. The article mentioned my recent rebrand for Riverside Tech and included a quote from Marcus. Mia Chen is the kind of talent that reminds you why you invest in people, not just companies. Ryan's friends started unfollowing me. His family members who'd friend requested me years ago suddenly disappeared from my connections. Jessica blocked me on every platform. Fine. Good. I didn't need an audience of people who'd never valued me in the first place. Then, 3 months after the wedding, I ran into Ryan at a coffee shop in Westport. I was meeting a new client arriving early to prep. He was in line ahead of me. I saw his shoulders tense when he heard my voice ordering behind him. He turned around. He looked rough, hair longer and messier than he usually kept it, circles under his eyes. The shirt he wore was wrinkled. Ryan never wore wrinkled shirts. Mia? His voice cracked slightly. Ryan. Mine didn't. Can we talk, please? I have a meeting in 10 minutes. Then 9 minutes, please. The barista called his name. He grabbed his coffee, black, no sugar, same as always, and gestured to a corner table. Against my better judgment, I followed. We sat down. He didn't speak for a long moment, just stared at his coffee cup like it held answers. Marcus completely pulled his investment, he finally said. $3 million. Gone. My dad had to lay off 12 people. Jessica's husband's family is reconsidering some partnership they were planning. My mom had to cancel their anniversary trip to Italy because they need to be conservative with expenses right now. I waited. Everyone's asking what happened, what we did to piss off Marcus Reeves. My dad grilled me for hours. I had to tell him about us, about the wedding, about locking you in the car. He looked up at me. He called me an idiot, said I threw away a business relationship over my inability to treat people with basic respect. Your father's not wrong. Ryan's jaw tightened. You destroyed my family, Mia. I did a design project for a client, Ryan. That's all I did. Everything else? That's on you. That's on your family. I didn't tell Marcus to pull his investment. I didn't badmouth anyone. I just did good work and lived my life. You knew what would happen. I knew Marcus was a smart businessman who makes decisions based on values and performance. If he decided your family didn't align with his values, maybe you should ask yourselves why. I checked my watch. 7 minutes. I'm sorry. He said it quickly, desperately. I'm sorry for the wedding, for the car, for all of it. I was stressed and stupid and I took it out on you, but you're taking it too far now. Punishing me is one thing, but my whole family. I'm not punishing anyone, Ryan. I'm just not protecting you anymore. That's the same thing, is it? Because for 2 years I protected you from the consequences of treating me badly. I made excuses for your family's behavior. I stayed quiet when I should have spoken up. I shrunk myself so you could feel bigger. And the one time I stopped doing that, everything fell apart. That's not punishment. That's just reality catching up. He stared at me. I loved you. No, you didn't. You loved that I was convenient, easy, undemanding. You loved that I'd disappear when you needed me to and reappear when you wanted me to. That's not love, Ryan. That's ownership. That's not fair. You locked me in a car for 2 hours in summer heat because you thought my face was pathetic. I kept my voice level, calm. Nothing I've done comes close to that level of cruelty. And you know what the worst part is? You still don't really think you did anything wrong. You're not sorry you hurt me. You're sorry there were consequences. 3 minutes, I said, standing up. I have a meeting. Mia, please. I hope you figure out what kind of person you want to be, Ryan. I really do, but that's not my problem anymore. I walked away. He didn't follow. My meeting went well. New client, nonprofit organization, brand refresh. They'd been referred by Marcus. As we wrapped up, the executive director said, Marcus speaks very highly of you. He said you're someone who understands the importance of authentic representation. That's kind of him, I said. He also mentioned you recently went through something difficult and came out stronger. Said you're the kind of person who turns pain into purpose. She smiled. That's the kind of energy we want in our organization. I got the contract. $12,000 over 4 months. Walking back to my car, I passed a bridal boutique. White dresses in the window, veils on mannequins, signs advertising trunk shows and alterations. I thought about Jessica's wedding, about sitting at table 19, about the gift that was called cheap taste. I didn't feel angry anymore. I didn't feel hurt. I just felt free. That night, I got a Facebook message from Ryan's cousin Sarah, not the bridesmaid, a different Sarah who I'd actually gotten along with at a Thanksgiving dinner 2 years ago. Hey, Mia, I don't know the full story of what happened with you and Ryan, but I heard enough to know he was awful to you. I'm sorry on behalf of the family. You deserved better. Also, I'm getting married next spring, and I'd love your help with design for the invitations and programs if you're interested. Paid work, obviously. Let me know. I stared at that message for a long time. Then I wrote back, I appreciate you reaching out, Sarah. That means a lot. I'd be happy to discuss your wedding project. Send me details? She did. We had a consultation call. She was warm, professional, nothing like Jessica. At the end, she said, I'm not inviting Ryan, by the way, or Jessica, or my aunt and uncle. I'm keeping the guest list to people who actually know how to treat others with kindness. Just thought you should know. Thank you for telling me, I said. Thank you for not letting them break you, she said back. August rolled into September. Marcus referred me to 3 more clients. My LinkedIn started getting regular inquiries. I hired an accountant to help manage my growing income. I started looking at 1-bedroom apartments in better neighborhoods. I also started dating. Casually. Nothing serious. A software engineer named David who took me to a jazz club and actually asked about my work. A teacher named Marcus, different Marcus, who made me laugh and didn't expect me to shrink. I wasn't ready for anything serious, but it felt good to be around men who treated me like I mattered. Then came the voicemails. It started in late September. I'd gotten a new phone number, fresh start, but somehow Ryan got it. Maybe from Sarah, though I doubted it. Maybe from some mutual connection I'd forgotten about. The first voicemail. Mia, it's Ryan. I know you blocked me, but I got your new number. We need to talk. Please, just call me back. I deleted it. The second, third, fourth voicemails came over the next week. His tone shifted with each one. Pleading, angry, desperate, self-pitying. You owe me an explanation. We can work this out. I'm sorry, okay? I'm really, really sorry. Just call me back. My family is falling apart because of you. I didn't mean the things I said at the wedding. Everyone's asking what happened to us. My dad might have to sell the business. Jessica's marriage is having problems because her in-laws blame our family for your revenge plot. I just want to talk. Please, Mia. I'm begging you. By October, there were 41 voicemails. I didn't listen to most of them, just saw the notifications pile up and felt nothing. Dr. Huang asked me in a session, "How do you feel about Ryan's attempts to contact you?" "Tired," I said. Not angry, not sad, just tired of him taking up space in my head. "Do you feel guilty?" "Sometimes. Then I remember the car, the 2 hours, the heat, his face when he called me pathetic, and the guilt goes away." "Good," Dr. Huang said. "That's called protecting yourself." I started mentoring young designers through a local nonprofit, teaching them about contracts, pricing, boundaries, self-advocacy. Things I wish someone had taught me earlier. One of my mentees, a 22-year-old named Priya, reminded me of myself at that age, talented but afraid to take up space. My boyfriend says I should just do free work to build my portfolio," she told me once. I looked her in the eye. "Your boyfriend is wrong. Your time has value. Your work has value. If someone asks you to work for free, they're telling you they don't value either, and you should believe them." She took my advice. 6 months later, she had 3 paid clients and had broken up with the boyfriend. "You changed my life," she told me. "No," I said. "You changed your own life. I just showed you that you could." In November, a local design magazine wanted to feature me in their Rising Stars Under 35 issue. The photographer came to my new apartment, the 1-bedroom in downtown Westport, the one with the huge windows, and the workspace I'd set up with an ergonomic desk and a view of the water. "What's your philosophy on design?" the interviewer asked. I thought about it. I believe in authentic representation, in making sure that what you present to the world reflects who you really are, not who you think you should be. Design is about truth, not pretense. "That's beautiful. Where does that philosophy come from?" "Personal experience," I said. I spent a long time presenting a version of myself that I thought people wanted to see. It almost destroyed me. Now I help others present their authentic selves, and it's the most fulfilling work I've ever done. The article came out in December. Full-page photo, beautiful layout, a quote pulled out in large text. "Design is about truth, not pretense." My parents called me, proud and emotional. Friends from college reached out. Former classmates congratulated me. Ryan sent voicemail number 41. I saw the magazine article. "You look happy, successful, like you've moved on completely." I guess you have. I'm still here dealing with the fallout of everything, but I guess that doesn't matter to you anymore. I wanted to say I'm sorry. Really sorry. Not because I want something from you, not because I'm trying to fix the business stuff, just because I am. I'm sorry I didn't see your value until you were gone. I'm sorry I let my family treat you the way they did. I'm sorry I locked you in that car. I'm sorry for all of it. You deserved so much better than what I gave you. I hope you're happy now. I really do. Goodbye, Mia. I listened to that one all the way through. When it ended, I felt nothing. No satisfaction, no anger, no sadness. Just a quiet sense of closure. I didn't call him back. I didn't need to. Christmas came. I spent it with my parents in their small apartment in Queens, eating my mom's dumplings and watching old Hong Kong movies. My dad asked about Ryan. "You never mention him anymore." "We broke up, Ba." "Good," he said. "He didn't appreciate you." "How did you know?" "A father knows. I saw how you made yourself small around him. I didn't like it, but I didn't say anything because I thought it was your choice." "I'm glad you chose differently." My mom patted my hand. You're glowing now. That's how I know you made the right choice. On New Year's Eve, I was at a party thrown by one of my new clients. Rooftop in Manhattan, champagne and tiny appetizers, people in expensive coats watching the ball drop on Times Square in the distance. I was talking to a venture capitalist about a potential project when Marcus Reeves appeared at my elbow. Mia, didn't know you'd be here. Neither did I until this afternoon. Last-minute invitation. How's business? Better than ever. I'm actually turning down work now. Can you believe that? He laughed. I can absolutely believe it. You're talented and people are finally recognizing it. He paused. I heard Ryan called you. A lot. 41 times. Did you call back? No. Good. For what it's worth, the Thompson business is recovering. They found new investors, smaller stakes but more of them. They're learning to operate without assuming they can control everyone around them. It's good for them, actually. I'm glad, I said, and I meant it. Not because I cared about the Thompsons, but because their story was no longer my story. The countdown began. 10, 9, 8. Around me, people grabbed champagne glasses, pulled partners close, got ready to kiss at midnight. 7, 6, 5. I thought about where I was a year ago, locked in a car, sitting at table 19, invisible, 4, 3, 2, and where I was now. Roof in Manhattan, successful business, authentic life. 1. Fireworks exploded over the city. People cheered, kissed, celebrated. I raised my glass to the sky and whispered to myself, here's to being visible. I am not the person I was in that car. I'm not the person who sat at table 19. I'm not the person who saved for 2 months to buy a gift for people who called it cheap taste. I'm someone who knows her worth. Someone who won't shrink for anyone. Someone who turned 2 hours of humiliation into a lifetime of self-respect. They thought locking me in that car would keep me in my place. They were wrong. It set me free. And that's the greatest revenge of all, not hurting them, but healing myself. If you're in a relationship where someone makes you feel invisible, this is your sign. You don't have to wait until you're locked in a car, literally or metaphorically. You can choose yourself right now. You can walk away from people who don't value you. You can build a life so beautiful that they can only watch from outside. And here's what I learned. When you stop making yourself small, some people will panic. They'll say you're being cruel. They'll say you're seeking revenge. They'll say you've changed. They're right about that last part. You have changed. And that's exactly the point. You deserve to be loved publicly, proudly, completely. And if someone can't do that, they don't deserve you at all. Remember that. Share this if it helped you see that. And subscribe, because I have more stories about people who found themselves after walking away from people who never deserved them in the first place.